There are only two things I'm certain of in this life. Everything else is a form of uncertainty. The first one being that my connection to Jesus Christ is true and solid and good and in the spirit of truth. The second one being that Bitcoin is likely going to go up within the next 5 to 10 years, no matter what. That's just the way that I see it. Everything else is just up for grabs, up for interpretation. Who knows what's going to happen? Now, in this Semen Retention Sunday episode here on the Regal Change account, and I want to welcome you all to another episode, I want to talk about why dating feels impossible while you're on the semen retention journey. And it's not because you're trying to hold on to your seed. I mean, it could be because of that, and that could be a byproduct, but it's not the whole end-all be-all of the situation. In fact, it's actually not that difficult when you're just able to treat semen retention as a lifestyle, and you're able to move through life, proceed with knowing that everything is likely uncertain except your connection to God. It makes things a lot easier to accept. It makes things a lot easier to understand. And especially when it comes to dating, the more you're on semen retention, and I've seen this more with men that I've spoken to about this topic, is that they seem to believe that there's a moment in which they're going to understand female nature, and they're going to understand everything about how to get women, or why women are the way that they are, or how to do this or how to do that. And the thing is that it's just not going to be the case. You don't really understand what this journey is about if women is your end-all be-all goal with it. And the more that you're on this journey, the more that you're going to understand this. And again, it's not really something like a goal to have, oh, I need to go 20 days or I need to go 30 days. I mean, sure, that can be a goal if you want, but it doesn't mean anything really down the line. Like, yes, there are times where it seems like after about 90 days or 3 months, there's this phase where most men go through where they start to feel more godlike. And I know a lot of people will say, well, that's a lot of, it could be a placebo. Well, who cares if it's a placebo then? If it's working and you're committing to acts of purity and you're honoring God's laws, statutes, and commandments, surely that's not a coincidence, right? But this is going to be something that you're going to have to really try on your own. It's not going to be something that you're just going to be able to see in real time within the first few days. It's going to be a process. And the thing is I think a lot of people, they try to see through the BS of the dating market, and they get pretty upset about it or pretty sad about it. And I'm not sure where else they would be going, of course, because there's a lot of sadness to be had. But at the same time, because it is kind of sad to watch your fellow people who are sharing this common life, it's kind of sad to look at the extremes that they're going to just for some attention, It's kind of sad to see that there are so many women out there that have degraded themselves so much that they don't even realize how degraded they really are. And I mean, if you go to the average gym in the United States anyway, where women are wearing whatever, whenever, and there's all these different things that they could be doing and they could be wearing otherwise, even when they're in relationships or they're married, that's something I don't understand. Men, why are you wifing up these women that are dressing like hoes? And I don't mean that to be rude. I'm just saying that that's what they are. Why are you acting in such a way where you're giving women the reward of commitment to these people and women specifically, of course, women that, because they are people, a lot of you guys don't think so, but, you know, to each their own, I guess. Because I think that's one of the first problems that you're going to run into on semen retention is if you've been viewing women to be not people, that's going to be an obstacle that you're going to have to face. You're going to have to look at that and you're going to have to see, well, where is that coming from? Why is that thought algorithm occurring within you? Because if your thought algorithms are not right about this, then it's going to be very challenging for you to actually want to talk to women. Even though you might biologically want to talk to women and you might spiritually want to talk to women, but you don't really want to. And that's the paradox there. And it's all because you've deluded yourself into believing that you've deluded yourself into believing that women aren't people and that they are fallible creatures. And of course, women don't want us to know this. They don't want us to believe this. But the more that you accept that all people are just as fallible as anybody else, except for Jesus, because Jesus was the only sinless person to walk this planet. And we can get more into that in another video. But once you really fully understand that anybody is capable of good and evil, we wouldn't be able to have free will if it weren't for the capacity for evil in our lives. And it's our job as men to lead women to a better place. It's our job as men to lead women toward a more proper state of being that is in line with God's law, statutes, and commandments. Why? Well, because we're the ones that are supposed to be, like, who did God put in charge over Eve? It was Adam, right? Adam was supposed to lead Eve, and he was, she was supposed to be the helper. So the archetype of woman and the archetype of man, these are their functions. The man is supposed to tend to the garden and maintain the garden and make sure everything is good and, build what he needs to build and all that. The woman is supposed to help him with all of that. The woman is in submission to the mission of the man's purpose and vision. And so the sooner that you can accept that and the sooner that you acknowledge that, it's funny. There was no noise until I started this freaking video. There was no noise at all. So that means that there's likely somebody out there really needs to hear this message and people don't want it to be heard. But nonetheless, we shall proceed forward. Maybe. This is a vanilla tobacco. Tastes like vanilla tree bark ice cream. It doesn't really maybe sound like the tastiest thing, but it's actually quite delicious. But, as we were saying, so when the woman is submission to the man's mission, this is why a lot of women will claim that they don't need a man. It's because they don't want to be in submission to the man's mission. But, of course, they also need to find a man who's worthy of being submitted to in that mission. So the mission of the man is, because like, what does submission mean? Well, okay, you're in place of or helping the mission. You're submitting. Your submission. You're impacting through what's already there, right? There's already something being built or created. Now it's about the implementation of it. This is why I say women will multiply what you have, or they'll just take from what you have. And you can lead a woman, or you can leave her. Okay, it's really that simple. And if you don't know how to lead yourself, then you sure as hell are not going to be able to lead a woman. And I think this is one of the other things that men start to realize on semen retention is that they start to acknowledge the true depths of their own ineptitudes of leadership. And they start to see, well, how am I going to lead a woman back to paradise, right? How are we going to go back to paradise after this? How are we going to return to paradise considering all of these terrible factors that are in place? Well, it's a good question. And It's not an easy answer, but the first thing that you can do as a man is to stop sleeping around, start following God's law, statutes, and commandments, and start really analyzing yourself to ensure that you're building the best possible future for you and your future family. And I think one other thing that would be very beneficial for a lot of you would be to pray for your past self and your future self. Pray for that person, okay? Because time in of itself only exists in the third dimension. So if you're able to analyze the terrain of this life, because, okay, think about this, right? It rained and snowed last night here where I'm at. There's a bunch of snow on the mountains. I'm literally looking at snow right now on the mountainside. But here in the valley, it just kind of rained a lot. And, you know, it's a season, right? There's a season for everything, and we're now witnessing the changing of the seasons. We're going into full-on winter now pretty soon. It was pretty cold over the past week, and fortunately today it's a bit warmer. Well, considering what warm is to certain people, I suppose. But for us, it's a bit warmer than usual, which is all right. I'm not complaining because it gives me some time to still be outside with these messages, because I like being outside with these talks with you guys. And the thing is, though, is that this is temporary. The snow on those mountains is only temporary. And we can imagine in our minds a time when the snow wasn't on the mountainside, right? And it's not because that we just want to imagine it. It's like we can actually recall an experience when we didn't see snow on the mountainside. Well, what is that? Well, you're accessing an interdimensional library, so to speak. So you can recall that internally, but still externally, the world is still here, right? The world is still doing its thing externally, and you're happening inside the world, and the world is happening inside of you, but you're not really of the world, right? If you're on this path, you're not of the world, but you're a part of it, okay? And that's, I think, something else that a lot of people will start to realize when it comes to dating is like many women are just not on this frequency. It's nothing against them. It's just that they're not on the frequency. They're not ready for you. They're just not ready for you. And it's not to, puff up your chest and to puff up your spiritual ego there, because I've been seeing a lot of people with spiritual egos just really rising. They're like, oh, I am so spiritual because I'm on semen retention, and I'm too good for this, and I'm too good for that. I'm too good. Well, maybe you are better than people in some aspects, for sure, but be careful. Be careful, because pride comes before a fall. And believe me, I just had like a flashback of when I had some spiritual pride. It's not good. It's not good for anybody. It's especially not good for you in your relationship to God, because you might think you're doing the right thing, but in reality, oh boy. In reality, what you're doing is you're completely disconnecting from God, thinking that you are. And that can be kind of a trip for a lot of people that are not prepared for this kind of thing. You see, when you're on the path of semen retention, and just because semen retention ultimately is about getting your life in shape and together. It's not, and it's about the discipline that comes with it. It's not about how many days can you go, how many days can you do this, what are the benefits going to be here. It's more about accessing this part of you that's always been there, but you've just been too much of a depleted coomer to think or believe or to see otherwise. So that part of you is always there. It's just waiting to be revealed to you. And that's exactly what I mean when I say pray for your past self and your future self, is that when you pray for your past self, you're kind of praying for your present self in some way too. But more so than that, your future self will thank you for it. Like, so for example, one thing that I do when I pray for my past self is that he has the wisdom to know what he doesn't know and to be open to learning what he doesn't know about, so that he can consistently move toward a more proper state of being. It's just like that. That's it. Then with my future self, I pray for him to have the wisdom to guide my present self to do whatever it is I need to do. And I'm not worshiping myself, okay? I'm not worshiping myself, but it's kind of like praying for somebody else in some way, shape, or form, right? Because you are the thing that transforms through time. And if you're the thing that transforms through time, because you're not your past self, you're not who you were 2 minutes ago, and you're not who you're gonna be 2 minutes from now. You are who you are right now, but your now is the only thing that exists. And so if the now is the only thing that exists, and time only exists in the third dimension, well, then that means that you're the thing that transcends time. You're the thing that is in time, trying to get out of time. And so the devil wants you trapped in that loop of time so that you don't see beyond these things. You don't see beyond what's actually happening. You're just too caught up in these superficial things. And when you're caught up in the superficial things, you're not really seeing the depths of your own potential. And if you're not seeing the depths of your own potential, it's a rough go for you, man, because you're so much more capable than you think. And it's just your own ego standing in the way. It's these thought algorithms that are old, that have no recollection to who you are trying to become, that you're clinging to because that's the only thing that you know. You only know these thought algorithms. And so trying to come up with these new thought algorithms, well, you're going to have to change your behavior too. It's not just a wish it into existence kind of a thing. So with all that being said, when it comes to the dating market feeling impossible, it's because you're waking up. Plain and simple. It's because you're waking up and you're realizing just what you can be capable of. And look, you don't want to over leverage yourself either. You don't want to over leverage yourself, because the universe, and when I say the universe, I use that term loosely because, well, I'll get into that another time, but the universe will slap you back into the face. You know, it will slap you. And if you're not prepared, it's going to hurt like a mofo. All right? So, moral of the story is, sorry, baby. Bitcoin seems more reliable than you. I'm just joking there, but in some ways I'm not. Because you guys know, like, in some jokes, there's always a bit of truth. But all in all, I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your day. You know, enjoy the Sunday sun, as I am right now. If you're wherever you are, if there is sun, or enjoy the snow or the rain. You know, enjoy all the weathers. Enjoy all the weathers that you got going on, because, well, you might as well. And there's nothing better in this life than just appreciating what you have. And you can't really control the weather, so you might as well just appreciate it for what it is. Same thing with most women and most people. You can't really control them, but what you can do is appreciate them. So, with all that being said, I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace be with you. Until next time.